Hey guys, welcome to Fit for the Long Run. I'm Joel, and today we're going to be talking about how to handle the heat. This is the next episode in our Nerdy Runner series, and we're going to be talking about how to handle the heat. It is hot here in Orlando. It is summertime, and the heat here gets to about 3 or 4 degrees hotter than the surface of the sun. And so I want to talk to you about how to handle that. If you need to get out in the heat to run or to exercise or anything like that, I want to just share some tips with you, things that I do to make sure that that we're keeping ourselves safe, keeping ourselves healthy, and doing things we need to do to make sure that we're surviving out there while it's hot. The first thing is this, and this is pretty much good for pretty much anything, but stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. I have the tendency sometimes to not drink enough water. And so I'm trying to be more mindful of that, but make sure you're drinking a lot of water throughout the day, before your runs, before you exercise, afterwards, and make sure your water intake is going up, because you're going to sweat a lot. I think I did a run today. I did 16 miles today, and I think I sweated out about 6 pounds of water weight on that run. So I weighed before and I weighed after, and it was 6 pounds, a 6 pound difference. So that's a lot. And so then you have to start putting all of that back in. But you hydrate before, hydrate after, and make sure you're getting your water intake as much as you can. So that's number one. Number two is, if you're running in the heat, is to back off your pace a little bit. And the research shows that the optimal running temperature, exercising temperature outside, is between 44 and 59 degrees. That's the optimal temperature. For me, I'd like it to be somewhere around 55 at the start. That's a really good temperature for me to run in. It's not real cold. And once you get going, it only takes you about a quarter of a mile to half a mile to really get your body heated up. Anything colder than that it takes your body a little bit longer to heat up, and then anything over that, it's just a little too hot. So, but once you get above 59 degrees, for every degree above 59 degrees, you want to add about 2 to 3 minutes to your pace time for every degree. So like today, this morning when I went out, it was early, like 4:45 a.m. when I started my run this morning, and it was still 74 degrees. So that's 15 degrees above 59 degrees. And so if you add 2 to 3 seconds per degree, that's 30 to 45 seconds that you want to add to your pace. So if you were looking to run an 8 minute and 30 second pace, then you want to back that up to probably 9:15, just to make sure that you're not overdoing it when it's really hot outside. So back off your pace a little bit. You'll notice that when I talk about it, that my pace is for middle of June to so far to almost the end of June. My pace has increased into the nines. So I don't run very many 8-minute miles, 8.5-minute miles in the summer, just because I know that it's really hot and you want to back off a little bit. Take a little bit easier in the summer. And you say, well, if you take it easy, then you won't really get any stronger. But yeah, you will. You'll see it when it starts cooling off a little bit more. You'll see the effort that you put in will translate into faster times later in the year when it cools off a little bit. So back off of your pace. The third thing is to cut back on the number of miles that you do. And I told Christy when I came in this morning, my 16-mile run was actually 2 8-mile loops. So I did 8 miles. I came in, I rested for about 15 minutes, and I went back out just because it's so hot out there. And I did another 8 miles. I came home and I told Christy, I think that for the summer months, until it kind of cools off a little bit, maybe into late September, early October, I don't think I'm going to do anything over 13. It's just because it's just too hot out there. I needed to do 20 last week, and I did 13 on Sunday and 7 on Monday to complete my 20. So I don't think I could have done 2 loops of 10 last week. and I barely got through 2 loops of 8 today. So you want to back off. You want to cut back on the number of miles that you run during the summer. Still keep it up there, but go with whatever's comfortable for you. If you can get through 13 miles fairly easily at a slower pace, then do that. Some of you may be able to do 16 or 20, and that's great. But I've decided that I don't think I'm going to be able to do that this year, and so I'm going to back off on my miles a little bit, at least until the end of September, early October. And you may be thinking, well, how is that affecting your goal? And we're not talking about goals today, but I can cut back a little bit on my mileage during the month and still be on track for 2,020 miles in 2025. At the end of June, I will be exactly almost a little over halfway, which is where I should be after the 6th month. But you want to cut back a little bit on the number of miles that you run every day, and maybe even cut back on some of the days, the number of days of the week that you run. Maybe if you're running 6 days a week, maybe only run 5. If you're running 5 days, maybe only run 4. Take an extra rest day until the heat goes down and the cool weather starts to come back in. And then number 4 is to either run earlier or later. I still see some people running at noon, and it's just right now it's just too hot to do that, at least for me anyway. And so if you know me anyway, I'm an early runner. I like to get out early, regardless of when it's what time of year it is. Like I said today, my goal was to get out by 4:30. I was out the door by 4:45 a.m. Had my first loop finished by a little after, right at 6 o'clock. Got back out, well, about 6:05, 6:10. Got back on the road at 6:30 and was back home by 8. So yeah, that's kind of how we did that. But and so I started earlier. I'm not really a later runner. I've tried that before. It just doesn't really fit my lifestyle, I guess you might say. But yeah, either try to run earlier when it's a little cooler, or run later after the sun goes down, and that way you can try to beat the heat. But there's 4 tips for you for trying to beat the heat in the summer, whether you're exercising or running or walking or whatever it is. Hope you can take these to heart and put these into practice during these summer months, so we can all make sure we make it through this heat, this hot time really strong. And when the cool weather comes back around, we'll begin to see those the effects of running in the heat with faster times later in the year. But drop me some comments below and let me know, how do you beat the heat during the summer? I'd love to hear those comments down in the comment section below. But I think that's going to do it today for Fit for the Long Run, the Nerdy Runner series. I'm Joel, and don't forget, it's the long run. Give yourself a little grace.